It's come down to this. All the dreams and all the hopes and all the aspirations of this Irish Grand Slam effort on Stephen Jones making or not making this kick. Has it? Has not made it. Touchdown. And it's Ireland's day. Yes! 61 years of waiting. How sweet this moment is for Irish sport and for Irish rugby and for a group of players who quite simply believed.
And if ever a team dug deep, and if ever a team deserved what they're getting out there now, it's this group, what they've given Irish rugby over the last 10 years, and the manner they've done it today, Ryan, that as much as anything. Fantastic.
Brian O'Driscoll, the captain, Paul O'Connell, and every other member of the 22, and indeed the greater team and greater effort that is Irish rugby, the coaches. And what about Declan Kidney? What has he done for the belief and the well-being of this game? And they may all take a bow, because it is their day, their finest hour. And in truth, the first one at this stage, no matter what happens, will always live long, long in the memory, and will be a day that we'll all remember, those of us that love sport, for the rest of our lives. O'Gara, oh, of all the moments he's had, that's surely the sweetest.
And you know, it's a pity that at the end it came down to a missed kick from Jones to give us the titles, because over the course of the 80 minutes, for my money anyway, Ireland were the better side. They played the better quality of rugby, they played it in the right areas of the field, and they tackled their socks off.
Well, what about that? The final score at the Millennium Stadium, for the record: Wales 15, Ireland 17. Ireland, the Grand Slam champions. Paul O'Connell, well, he talked last week in an interview about not taking or paying any attention to anything that happened and not getting carried away by the emotion. They all said they were playing for the dressing room on this day if they won. That's all they wanted, was to be able to look at each other in the eye. Let's hear what the captain has to say.
Salute in the air, Brian O'Driscoll. Grand Slam champions at last. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful, you know. The amount of things going through the head during the week, permutations, combinations, what could be, what might be, what is, you know. It feels so good, you know. Like, for it to go down to that at the end, honestly, it would have broken my heart. But I don't know, I'm so proud of the boys today, and you know, through the Six Nations, took a lot of flack over the last 18 months, and to come back and be Grand Slam champions, first in 61 years. I'm just so delighted.
A dramatic drop goal from Ronan O'Gara. He's had some turbulent times in his career. How proud for that man?
The boy's a wonder, you know. He's the strength of character, I don't know too many. Some of the words that he said today were just phenomenal. And he just, you know, you want to win with them, you want to play well with them, and that's why he's 2 European Cup winners' medals and now a Grand Slam medal.
It's a worn old cliche, but what on earth did Declan Kidney say to you at half-time? Because you came out a team possessed, scored 2 quick tries, and it really was the turning point.
We said we're still completely in it. We just hadn't converted any of our pressure into points, and we did that. We came out firing and got 2 quick tries, and then we stopped playing a bit. But you couldn't have asked for a more dramatic end than that. The drop goal, and then for Steve to miss the penalty by a yard. I don't know. It was just a phenomenal feeling.
You've had quite some hand in this championship yourself, Brian. Today, this is much deserved. I suppose it'll get drunk long and hard into the night. You are the RBS man of the match, and many congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, Ireland's captain Brian O'Driscoll with our colleague from the BBC, Sonya McMahon. Let's hear what our boys back in studio have to say. Tom McGurk with George Hook, Brent Pope and Conor O'Shea.
Well, our thanks to Ryle and Tony. Absolutely extraordinary. Don't come back with your cameras because we're lying on the floor. Brent Pope is having cardiac arrest at the moment. This has been the closest. George Hook, Isn't this a wonderful, wonderful moment?
Well, people might be surprised why I was so confident. And it started at lunchtime on Monday with those extraordinary 80-year-olds, because they told me how they won, and I knew it's how this team was going to win. Overwhelm the Welsh up front, cut off the supply at scrum half, and be able to raise your game at will. All three things today.
In the crowd there, you're seeing pictures of 83-year-old Jack Kyle, who was number 10 out half last time. We met him on the programme in Croke Park, Brent. What a glorious day.
Well, it's one of the best games I've ever seen in any competition, in any history in the world. For it to come down to that, you know, I know you can look back and they say there's no better way to win it in a sense, you know, by the slimmest of margins. Wales came back, Wales put everything into that last 5 minutes. You had the feeling that they had maybe done enough, but what a great day. We were sitting here on the edge of the seat, nearly in tears as a result. It means that much to rugby in this country.
You could analyse it to death, but the hearts were huge as the President walks onto the pitch now to present with Prince William, Connor.
Oh, I thought I was going to have another Seamus Darby moment, and they were going to be deprived right at the death, and they were just amazing. And when Ronan O'Gara got that penalty, the calmness. Donegal Callahan went down, had a little bit of an injury break. They're just thinking on. They are just an amazing group of players, and no players deserve to win.
Well, there's the platform party making its way. The President and Prince William.
Please for Paddy Wallace, because for one guy you could see him after that.
Okay, let's go back to Ryle for presentation.
Thank you, Tom. We will start with the Triple Crown, and the Irish that are here are making themselves heard as many of the locals have departed the scene and left us to a sea of green.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Irish Vice Captain, number 5,
Paul O'Connell will come forward to collect the Triple Crown plate, and he'll be presented by David Pickering. It's hard to find the words, it really is. The pictures tell their own story. Those men have been close for so many years in this great championship and never have managed to get across the line, and there's the man who's led them, Declan Kidney. The Welsh players, they know what this felt like last year for them, and many of them will be with their Irish counterparts in the Lions tour, no doubt about that. Paul O'Connell called forward for a second time, and I'm not sure anybody can find him. There he is, right in the middle. He's asked to go forward, and here he comes.
There we are.
David Pickering will present the trophy. And a nice touch this for O'Connell to be nominated to pick up the Triple Crown for Ireland. And now the rest of the team will come forward. Marcus Horan, what a wonderful display of determination and footballing prowess from Marcus Horan today. Every single one of them played their part. Horan receives his medal from His Royal Highlands Prince William, and President Mary McAleese there also, Jerry Flannery, John Hayes. All the toil, all the effort over the years. Donegal Callahan, kiss for the President. Stephen Ferris, off with an injury earlier on. David Wallace, another who on the day played above the greatness that we know exists. Tomas O'Leary following Jamie Heaslip through. Another proud day, which there have been many in the O'Leary household. Ronan O'Gara, the hero. He's been through the mill, and by his own high standards probably hasn't had the best Six Nations championship, but you wouldn't have had anybody else in that position at that moment. Carney and Rory Best, and I think that was his penalty, and boy will he be a relieved man that Stephen Jones didn't slot it. Dennis Leamy and Peter Stringer, Paddy Wallace, and finally Jordan Murphy. I think they can scarcely believe they were here to witness it. As the other squad players come through, those that were asked to travel by Declan Kidney in case there was an injury, and Keith Earls is in there, and Alan Quinlan and Shane Jennings. But now for Ireland's captain. His 93rd international cap, his 56th time as captain, and his proudest moment. The president steps forward and presents the trophy they wanted. Ireland, the Grand Slam champions. Let the party begin. From player to player. A word, Tony, on the most understated coach I think any of us have ever seen. Declan Kidney, can you put in perspective just what he has managed to do with this Irish side? You've seen plenty of coaches and worked with plenty of coaches over the years. A word on Declan Kidney.
Well, what I love more than anything about Declan since he's come on board is his humility, and I think you've seen it nowhere more than this week in the build-up to this game, throughout the championship. But given the utterings from this side of the Irish Sea and some of the comments that were made, and there was no reaction at all, and that sums up Kidney. And I thought he made one comment when he was asked was he looking forward to the game, and he said, isn't it great to have a ticket to get in? And I thought that summed him up, and that's what he transcends to the players. There they are, 2009 immortals, each and every one of them, and deservedly so. They have been fantastic.
Well, they'll celebrate long into the night and the morning, and now they break rank, and Kidney, a big hug for Paul O'Connell. Picture tells its story. You think of the terrific days in Irish sport, and the Ronnie Delaney's and the Sonya O'Sullivans and the John Tracy's, and Ireland's journey through Soccer World Cups and European Championships, and Munster's victory in the Heineken Cup, and this day will rank with them for all time.
Oh, this is right up there with the best of them, and as I said, it's the way in which they did it. I mean, topsy-turvy game, and in the end we knew they were capable of digging deep. You know, let's not put it all down to Jones' missed penalty. Let's look instead at the quality of the drop goal that preceded it. It was magnificent.
I think people will look further than that and look at the performance over the entire Six Nations campaign, which was brilliant when it needed to be, dedicated when required, and ultimately the most successful group of players that the nation has ever seen, winning 5 to win the Grand Slam. It'll be some night in Cardiff, and they will enjoy every minute of it.
I'll tell you, as many Green supporters as there are on the ground, there are as many again outside. The number of people I met who had no tickets for this game but have just come to Cardiff to join in what they hoped would be the evening celebrations, and now they're going to get it.